All right, welcome to Premeditated Health and Performance, the best gym in the world, nay, the universe. That's a bold statement, but I stand by it. Might be wrong, though. Today, we're going to talk about the Rogue Air Rhino. So you probably remember the original Rhino. It was a belt squat athlete platform. They did the same idea here, but they went with flywheel and fan resistance and electromagnetic resistance instead of plate resistance, and it is pretty cool. We're going to go over the exercises we can do and give you just kind of a broad overview of the system itself. Okay, so exercises you can do. You can, of course, belt squat. You can see here we are squatting. Additionally, we can deadlift. Deadlifting, pretty awesome on here as well, and it is what they were using at Home Gym Con as the competition to win one. Now, you can use basically any cable attachment you want on this machine, but mileage is going to vary. Bicep curl, as you can see here, worked exceptionally well. But if you are going for overhead press, it can be a little tricky to get it into position, like we'll see right here. Once it's there, it works decently well. You're going to have to put the dampener considerably lower than you would normally for leg movements, but it works. Ones that were troublesome for me, two specifically. The first being an overhead tricep extension. I'm trying to figure out how to do some sort of more tricep and horizontal pressing work here. And as you can see, just getting into position for the tricep extension, not a win. Secondly, I was setting up for a horizontal press, and I figured the only way to really do this right now is a belted push-up. I tried a number of configurations. You can see here as it's going, there's no weight on it until you are almost at lockout. You can't go down all the way because the carabiners and the belts get in the way, so not ideal. They did say, however, they are going to be working on attachments for things like that. They wouldn't give me a ton of details because Rogue's real hush like that, but I know it's something they are working on. Okay, now you may have noticed this charming logo and this charming company, No Chill Tactical. That actually is one of my companies. We do t-shirts, we do workout programs. I sell some maces and clubs on there. You should definitely check it out, nochilltactical.com. Okay, let's go over the specs here. We have a very nice belt squat belt that it comes with. This is actually awesome. If they sell it separately, I don't know. I didn't do that much research on that. But if they sell it separately and you have another belt squat that you love, I highly recommend this belt. So I like that it comes down at an angle, super comfortable neoprene through here, lots of options to clip into. But for the Air Rhino, they actually give you a little seat belt as well. Because there's no eccentric loading, you'd come up with a lot of strength, and then when you go back down, they want to be able to keep the belt in place. And since there's no weight, if you go down fast, that might go up. So that's why this is here. But the belt, 10 out of 10, awesome, awesome belt. Moving on to the operations of the machine. But before that, don't forget to drop a like, throw a subscribe. We're going to start doing a lot more videos. Took a bit of a hiatus, but I got a bunch more equipment that we haven't reviewed. So we're going to be starting to crank some of these out for you guys. So how it works. Your belt will clip in. Now, that's pretty hard. And if I had my belt on and I wanted to pull that up there, that's pretty hard to get to. So if you push this lever down, it takes and disconnects that from the fan blade, so it's easy to get up there and buckle in. Once you're buckled in, turn that on. Now you have your resistance, and right now it is set, one over here, to be off of the flywheel, which like any other rower or air skier type thing you have, has a 1 through 10 damper setting. Now, if you're pulling and that feels real easy, which it doesn't because I'm just rowing it with one arm, you can flip this switch here, which puts it in Rhino mode. So now we don't just have the flywheel resistance, we have electromagnetic resistance as well, and it is considerably harder, easily twice as hard as it is with just the fan blade going. We're going to go over the operations of all the gizmos and gadgets. So first off, mechanically, we have adjustable height here. I haven't really seen any need for that. I have lots of clients that have used that are varying heights that have had no problem just staying right here. But the real thing we want to look at here is we can put a cell phone there. Hey, look at that. So I guess if you're going to stay here for 20 minutes doing squats, you got something to watch. That's kind of cool. It does have, like most other cardio fan machines, lots of different displays and units to measure. So you can go wattage, and then you're measuring, of course, how much wattage is getting moved, which isn't a whole lot with me right now. Okay? And it's totaling it. So if I did 2 reps, there's 3 reps, it's going to keep adding up. And it has that with all the units as well. So this is how many feet you're moving. This is how many, I don't know what the pounds S is versus just the pounds is, but this box right here is each rep, how much pounds you're moving. This is total in that set, and then it'll time it as well, and you can always reset it. On the home screen, it has some options as well. You can select pre-done workouts. They have some app, I imagine, that's coming out to connect to some other things that they got cooking right now that aren't out quite yet. But the majority of you and me are going to probably just Rhino, and it'll set up and go how you normally go. Couple of great options for programming I've liked to use is have clients work up to a heaviest poundage they can get, and then do like 5 drop sets at 90%. And if they drop under that 90%, that rep doesn't count. Other way that I've used it is say, hey, client, you have to hit a total of 2,000 pounds as fast as possible. And then it treats it a little more like how you would do like some sled drills. So one thing that's been happening as I've been using it, as my clients have been using the Air Rhino, is I'm having a realization that it is a lot more similar to a sled and how it hits your body than it is to the actual Rhino belt squat. So if your goal is, I want this to be a belt squat for building muscle as like a main squat movement, it's a lot cheaper than the Rhino, coming in at $1,295 compared to over $2,000, but it definitely isn't that. And that's mainly because of the eccentric loading. So when you unrack a belt squat, you are loaded like you are with a squat bar on the way down, and then you're coming back up. On here, you are unloaded at the top, and you're only getting that drive out of the bottom, very much like a sled treats you. Now, that does do a couple things that you can't do on a normal belt squat Rhino or Squat Max MD or any of the other options out there, and that is focusing more on power production. So if we are all the way down 0 to 100, that is a little different than being loaded on the way down and then trying to go to 100. So I think for power production, awesome. For trying to hit volume in a time domain, like we talked about a second ago, awesome. For just obliterating your legs on a belt squat, just hammer, 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 awesome. Just like a sled would be, which means it kind of dips into the conditioning piece as well. So I could make an argument to have this and a Rhino belt squat because they do have similarities, but they definitely have different emphases, whatever that word is, different focuses on different things in your squatting. Both can be used for many things like deadlifting or even pressing, but I think if you're going to do that, this is not an all-in-one weightlifting machine. I think a better choice for that would be the actual Rogue Rhino because of the consistent loading on your pressing, on your curling, on your triceps, even on the push-up. Whereas on this, you have to be exploding out of the bottom to hit the wall to catch that resistance. You don't have to do that with any plate-loaded belt squat option. So if you're looking for this to be your one thing in your home that does everything, it is not. What it is awesome power development tool, especially on lower body movements, and a good conditioning and a density training kind of tool. So if you're looking for that, awesome buy, awesome machine. If you are looking for it to be your main lower body squatting movement, probably shouldn't be looking here, probably should be looking some other places. So again, with Rogue, it is $12.95 right now. I'm sure that price will creep up as they get more out there and they get some more reviews out there and people start liking it. Shipping is shipping from Rogue. You're going to pay an arm and a leg. That just is what it is. That's the Rogue way. They are like that. They build great stuff, but they're going to stick it to you on pricing a little bit. So check out my review. We got links to this product in the description, as well as some other affiliate links and links to No Chill Tactical. Check us out and stay tuned. We'll bring out some more reviews.